Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of the Unframe of Mind show. Today I wanted to talk about some dividing words. One of the dividing words that keeps popping into my mind is the word extreme. Using the word extreme to describe your opponent, to describe other ideologies you disagree with, to describe just basically trying to separate yourself from the other. The reason this keeps coming to mind is because it's funny to hear people describe you as an extremist. You're a Muslim extremist. You're a Christian extremist. You are a right-wing extremist. You're the extreme left. And what's that mean exactly? First of all, I guess the question is, how does that make you feel when you're called extreme? It's like, oh, well, he's a good person and all, but, he's a little extreme. I mean, if you're being called extreme, that's almost like you're just beyond the realm of ordinary, like or acceptable behavior. And so my first question would be, how does being called extreme make you feel? And that's the reason it's being used. It's because it's actually designed to elicit a response out of you. I mean, think about it. When somebody says you're very extreme, you're a lot, you're just too much. I mean, that certainly elicits a certain defense response. Like, I'm not too much. What are you talking about? I feel perfectly normal. Why would you say I'm extreme? I don't feel like I'm extreme. And then you start questioning yourself. Am I extreme? Am I, outside the bubble? And it's meant to put you on your heels. It's meant to attack you or the other group, whatever that may be. And the most important thing you need to remember is it's not an argument. It's just not. It's not somebody trying to use logic and reason and trying to prove a point by making a logical argument. It's somebody just trying to use your emotions against you and put you on your heels. So when I hear people call you an extremist or use the word extreme, it makes me feel like there's this, it's okay, so this is what I hear. I hear, if you have this ideology, if you follow this ideology to its logical conclusion, you get this. It's as if people are saying there's this idea and there's that idea, and both of them are terrible ideas in their extreme form, and perfection's found somewhere in the middle. Do you know what that's called? That's called a false dichotomy. That is to suggest there's either this or that, and those are your only options. Now, the problem with that is, take the left versus right, for example. There are so many other flavors that you can possibly choose from that don't fall into the left versus right spectrum. Take anarchy, for example. It is way outside that box. But as long as you're focused on this or that or the extreme version of this or the extreme version of that, you're never going to even consider any other option. So what that false dichotomy does is it keeps people from actually being able to identify and consider any other alternatives. You know what you've never heard of? You've never heard of an extreme mathematician. You've never heard of an extreme cartographer. I mean, if you're going to map the world, it's either going to be right or it's going to be wrong. If somebody runs into a cliff because you mapped it incorrectly, then I guess the cartographer was wrong. I wouldn't say he's extreme because he got it incredibly right or accurate. That would make no freaking sense. So this is why on the show I like to really force people to consider breaking apart these ideologies into their individual component parts and really getting down to the nuts and bolts of the principles behind it and figure out why people feel the way they feel. Is it because they're trying to toe a party line? Is it because they're trying to put themselves in a box that they are acceptable within their community within? Is it because, I mean, it doesn't really matter, except you got to be able to pick it apart and look at the individual parts and figure it out. Is it extreme? Maybe. Hell, I don't know. How are you going to figure it out? But if somebody's calling you extreme because they're trying to put you on the defense, be aware of that. Be aware of those dividing words. So thanks for watching the Unframe of Mind show. If you'll be so kind as to head on over to the website and check it out. We've got a bunch of recent posts that you can check out. We've got a number of featured posts as well as our Fake News Guide, your armor against the media cesspool. Also, in the top right corner, we have all of our social media links and our Stitcher and iTunes addresses if you want to subscribe to the podcast there. Thanks for watching.